Hello, hello. Welcome again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 29-year veteran writer, artist, editor, science fiction, fantasy, horror, comics, and role-playing games. And we are celebrating October with Booktober, where we do a single review of a different book every day of the month. Normally I do multiple books several times a week, but we're going to do it one book a day for October, as well as some of our extra regular editions. Today's book is After the Fall from Magnetic Press, written by Laurent Queyssi and illustrated by Juhzen, who's a Chinese artist. I hope you're all doing well. Pop Culture says, "Good morning, Raven." Hello, Captain Midnight. Midnight is in the house, but he's not in screen focus, unfortunately. He's behind the back screen taking a nap. So if he decides to come around and show himself, but that's what's going on with him this morning. Let's go ahead and take a look at our book for today. And that is, again, After the Fall, 1995, hardcover from Magnetic Press. The writer is Laurent Queyssi, artist is Juhzen. The genre is science fiction. It was released in this hardcover edition on September 22nd, 2021. Earth, 96 years after the fall, which is basically a post-apocalyptic cataclysm. Giala and her tribe live amongst the ruins of a metropolis turned upside down. When a gang of slave traffickers attacks them, the men are executed and the women are enslaved. Narrowly escaping, Giala has only one thing in mind, that's to rescue the children of the tribe and set things right. But what can one woman do against a gang of armed slave traffickers in a post-apocalyptic cityscape? Oh, well, they're about to find out. Now, this is an English translation of the French graphic novel Après la Chute. It was originally released on Comixology in singles in English before being collected in hardcover, and the French edition was originally published back in 2017. This cover that I'll show you a little bit more here is a bit misleading. It presents us with Giala as some sort of badass heroine, and that's not the case at all. She really doesn't know how to fight. She spends her time basically being a caregiver to other people's children and really doesn't know how to do a whole heck of a lot. Fortunately, she meets up with a great group of mutants who will help her in her quest to save the children. The mutants in this book are far more interesting characters than Giala is. I don't know if I have favorites. There's Mickey, the little girl with psychic powers, and Michael, the zombie man, who is the only one who still knows how to read, even though he doesn't have eyes and isn't reading Braille, so go figure that one out. Unfortunately, the story is a little bit generic and blah, I'm sorry to say. It's a little too simplistic and too, well, I guess the right word is sexist. It plays the female characters up as kind of weak and worthless a little bit too much, actually far too much in the book. And it's a pretty generic post-apocalyptic story, to be honest. Now, the art by Juhzen is interesting to look at, but I don't think he's as great as his work has been lauded to me. which is part of why I bought this book, because I'd heard so much about him from earlier works that I hadn't seen before. And you're like, make sure you check this guy out. So I have. I don't think he's really all that great. He's not bad, but we'll show his art in a second here. I just don't think he's that great at maintaining character design consistently. Several of his women look semi-generically like Giala, and he doesn't do a very good job with facial expressions. It's very much like he's focused on doing computer painting and coloring rather than the overall structures of, storytelling or figure figure drawing or character design. His pacing isn't the best, and the figure work and facial expressions just aren't that consistent. And I don't understand why comics fans think that just because someone computer paints their comic work, that they're automatically great, seemingly. So I have to admit, I was mildly disappointed with this book. But that being said, let's take a quick look at it. Now, this is a mature reader's book. There's some nudity in it. There's a lot of blood and guts stuff going on. I went to a place that was place in the story that hopefully wasn't too bad. And again, the art doesn't look that bad here, but he doesn't have the women in here either in these particular pages. This is where they're attacked by giant lizards and by these are the men who are the enslavers. And as you see here, the monster cut his arm off. And she's fleeing the scene. And, it's all relatively okay. Kind of generic cloud painting. The lighting is a little bit off and weird there. The light sources are behind her, and that's fine, except it's kind of weird the way the light reflects off of different things and it reflects off of her, like in the second panel, fairly well, but then it doesn't really reflect off of other objects in the same way that it reflects off of her. In that second panel, her eyes are all super dark, and you don't really see the whiteness in her eyes like you're supposed to, like you do on the other panels, on the other pages. And I thought that was a little bit off. Little things like that, as great as I was told he was, shouldn't really be that kind of flaws in there. Again, the art really doesn't look that bad. It's just, for all the hype I've gotten, heard about him, I've seen much better artwork. His figures are a little stiff. Again, I'm not really sure about all of his light sources being really all that accurate. A good example here, again, the light is coming from behind on this panel. Then the next panel below, you can see the light is still coming from behind, but somehow there's a light also from this area over here, which you can see with the robot on right here. Whoop, there we go. That's all lit up, and it's like that's not really a good light source situation. Of course, this spider type robot comes out after her and out of the shadows. And it's like, okay, well, it should really be completely in the shadows, I would think, like I said, because the light source is, back behind her and blocked by the building that it's attached to. So little things like that kind of bother me a little bit here and there. Her facial expressions are pretty generic. She doesn't really have a whole lot of range. I'll introduce you to some of the interesting characters now. Um, Here are the mutants, some of them anyway. The little girl in the top corner there, that's the psychic girl and her handler, so to speak. Um, and they basically have to protect her and help her with other things. And it's not bad, like I said, but for the hype I got for this, I expected a lot better than what it was. And I was mildly disappointed as a result. But overall, sorry about the reflection off the screen. Yeah, there you go. Now, again, this is a $19.99 book, $20 hardcover. You can probably get this in Comixology and the singles for cheaper if you want to try and find it that way. Overall, I gave the book a 2.5. It is recommended for mature readers. There's nudity, there's gore, there's violence. No more so than what you would find, say, in the Road Warrior or Mad Max movies or something like that. But given that it is comics, and you know how people are in society, comics are meant for kids. You're not supposed to have that. This is definitely a mature reader's book. Okay. Now, later this evening, I will be back for reviews of the films Tenet, Prospect, and Gemini Man. That'll be at, I believe, 7 p.m. Let me check real quick if I can. $8 p.m. That'll be at 8 p.m. this evening. And also, hopefully, in a little while, I have to go run some errands after this episode is over, but hopefully I'll be back a little bit in the afternoon to do a live draw as well. So tomorrow we will review the next book, and that will be The Humans, which is a prose fiction novel by Matt Haig. And now again, that'll be at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. We will see you then. This is a book I got from the library, but I will be reviewing this tomorrow at 11 a.m. And we will see you at that time. In the meantime, however, if you like our program, I'd really appreciate it. If you like the video or you think others might, please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to continue to get content from this channel. As always, I thank you for watching and for your support. If you want to reach me, make suggestions for Booktober, perhaps, or you have want to ask me questions, you can reach out to me at lewis.brightraven on Facebook, at Twitter at lewisbrightrave2. You can see my artwork at deviantart.com/brightraven. You're watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Brightraven, exclusively on YouTube. You can also email me at quoththeravenlbr72@gmail.com with your questions, or if you want to request a commission or something like that. And if I don't answer your question via email or on the air, try Lewis Brightraven at yahoo.com, because sometimes the Gmail, I don't get the email for some reason, but usually I get it at the Gmail. So we will see you guys either this afternoon after I get my errands done, or this evening at 8 p.m. for the movie talk. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.